Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here again. Today, going to show you guys how to play the Joe Walsh classic All Night Long, a cut from the 1980 soundtrack to the film Urban Cowboy, and one of Joe's highest charting and most well-known solo releases. Let's not waste any time chit-chatting here, close in and get started, shall we? All right then, Joe Walsh and All Night Long from the Urban Cowboy soundtrack. We are in standard tuning for this tutorial. There's multiple guitars going on at the opening of this one, 3 or 4 like layered guitars. I'm going to kind of show you how to play it as if Joe was playing this one live, right? All on just one guitar. And it kind of goes something like this. So we're starting with an E major chord here, a little up down, ba-da, right, ba-da. And then we're just into these little single notes here on the top 2 strings, the high E and the B, on the 2nd fret of the high E and the 3rd fret with the open E. That little progression there, right, just bouncing off the 2 and the 3 and the 2 of the B. When you complete that little progression, the last time you're going to catch the top 2 strings together on the upstroke. Kind of like that, right? And then you're going to start it again. The second time you're going to kind of cut it off halfway through and do a quick little hammer on from the open B onto the 2nd fret, and then drop into 2 A power chords. Right? Hit those 2 A power chords, very staccato, ba, 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 da. Drop back into the E major chord again, start the whole thing again. Now, we're going to repeat it 2 more times, but we're going to double stop all of those single notes. We're going to repeat that twice, right? So instead of just single notes, now we're going to double stop them all by covering the B and the high E string together. Kind of like that. And the little hammer on there, mid-lick transition, is going to be hammering on open G onto the 1st fret and then catching the top 2 strings on the upstroke. Kind of like that. And you repeat it twice. And then the 3rd time, you're going to cut it off with a quick little hammer on before those A power chords from open G onto 1. Repeat. Right, and now we're into the 1st verse. So that's the opening. Into that E major chord there, let it ring. We get up early and we work all day. And then we're going to slide back into it from kind of off the neck, which is a little bit unique. We're going to back that E major chord up to the 1st fret, right? And our middle finger here is going to be off the neck behind the nut, and you're going to slide it right back into that E major chord. Kind of like that. Just grabbing the bottom 4 strings, right? It's a little bit unique. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to drop into D. And so we're going to grab a quick D power chord here and then drop into A. And then a little hammer on from 2 to 4 of the D down to the 2 of the G. Quick little D again before dropping back into A and repeating. And then you're going to grab the 2nd fret of the low E, little half step bend, and release it back off to the E major again. So I guess you can call this like the pre-chorus, right? So, from the beginning of the chorus. Early and we work all day, slide in. We like to stay up all night long. And then we're going to play that little lick, just single notes again. Just open E, open B, 2nd fret of the B. And then you're going to grab that 2nd fret again, a little half step bend, release it back off to open E for the 2nd half of the 1st verse. So, 1st verse. Early and we work all day. We like to stay up all night long. Second half of the 1st verse. Slide into it. D, A. And then you repeat that lick again. And then we drop into the opening lick again from the very beginning of the track. Verse, same as the 1st. Slide in. D to A. Play this lick again. Right, 2nd half of the 2nd verse. Slide in. D to A. Play the licks. And this is leading into the solo. So we're going to grab this F sharp power chord here. A little blues progression, bounce off this 6 of the A, right? Move it down to a B. And then back off to E. And then we're going to play this little lick. And then drop into the solo, right? So. Just going from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 of the G along with the open E string. Kind of like that, little kind of like bluesy progression. And then we're going to grab an A power chord, back it up one spot, and then back it up to an F sharp power chord. And then back off to E major again for the beginning of the solo, which is going to be in E major, right? So that's that little progression leading into the solo. All night long. And then we're into the solo. And that is the first half of the solo. So we're soloing in E major off to A major. And that's the first lick of the solo, starting on the 9th fret of the high E, grabbing the 12 of the B into a bend on the 11 of the G. Right? We're going to repeat that 3 times, but the second 2 times, you're going to have that pre-bent and release it. So the first time you can hear the bend, the second 2 times you cannot hear the bend going up. Kind of like that. Kind of missed it a little bit there, sorry. Right, and then you finish on that 9 of the G. And then we move off to A major with that lick. Same little shape, right? Bending this 4 of the G, rolling up on the 2s, dropping onto the 5 of the B, little bend release of that 4 off to 2. Right, and then we're back into E major again. Finishing the first half of the solo with that. Just classic blues licks, right? Just bending that 11, string skipping down to the 9, grabbing the 12, and then finishing the first half of the solo all on the 9s and 11s of the D and the G. With that right there. With an 11 off to 9 there of the D string to finish the first half of the solo. Right? So, from the beginning. And then the rhythm underneath, ba-dum, bum, bum, and then we're into the second half of the solo. It's all very loose, this second half, lots of little chords in there and whatnot, so we're kind of just sliding into an E major chord here from the D note here at the 5th fret, and then just catching the B and the G string on the upstroke and sliding out of it, right? And you kind of repeat that twice. And then into that lick there, just sliding into the 9 of the D, down to the 7 of the G, grabbing that 9, sliding it back to 7, off to 5, and then finishing on the 7 of the A. Right? And I think he's layered the guitars here. Off to an A major chord or an A power chord. Ba-da, ba-da-da. Just a little ba-da, ba-da-da. And then you're going to grab a little double stop here on the 3s. Grab the 5 of the B string, grab the 7 of the high E and back to that 5. Kind of like that. And then you repeat these E's again with those little slides. And then you're going to slide into a little double stop here on the 7s. And then off to an E major chord and just let it ring, right? A little up, down, or a little down, up, I should say. Right? And then and then we drop into this little progression one more time before the outro solo. So that is the main solo to this one. Into that for 2 repeats, right? And then we drop into the outro solo. The outro solo starts the exact same way, but three frets higher. Right? Same thing we did to start the first solo. Right? We're going to move it up here to the kind of like the 12th fret position, E minor pentatonic, right? And then finish on that 12 of the G. We're not going to play the same lick that follows that. We're going to drop into this. Classic little bluesy progression. Just sliding into 6 of the G, catching the 5 of the high E. Right? And then move it up to 7 and 7, and then 8 and 8, and 9 and 9. Right? then you're just going to drop into a little double stop here on the 12s of the G and the B. Into that lick right there. Just all on the 12s and 14s of the B and the high E. Finishing with a bend of that 14 of the high E off to 12. And that's the first half of the outro solo. So, and then again, ba-dum, bum, bum. And the second half of the outro solo is the exact same as the first solo. Ba-da, ba-da-da. It's all very loose, right? And then the big chorus comes up, right? All night long, right? And he's still soloing. He's just back in E major again. And I don't know exactly what he's doing because it's kind of buried in the mix a little bit, but this will get you through. Kind of back in the E major here, you know, 11 and 12. A little lick like that, right? Move it off to A major. With a little lick, something like that. Back to the E major. Little lick, something like that. And then finishing the track with this. Classic, bluesy, right? That 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And these little, I don't know what these chords are called. They're a little backwards D shape here. 3, 2, 3. And then just move it up one spot to 4, 3, 4. That is the end of the song. And that, my friends, is how you play All Night Long by Joe Walsh. Certainly hope you enjoyed the tutorial, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.